It's been a while since we've gotten to hang out in this space. We are leading today, kind of actually in a more impromptu decision to lead tonight. Bob and Christy are out of town for the day, taking a day to spend with some family, and they're traveling at the moment. And so we opted to try to be creative and come up with a space. And so we're actually in our Family Connection Center at the moment, which is the place that I call home the most often in work environments. So this was also the place we did a lot of recording back in the pandemic era. Not initial 2020, but 2021 times when we kind of closed our services back down. And so we spend a lot of time over here. So that's kind of nostalgic to be back in this space, a different setting. But so yeah, I think we're going to do a couple of worship songs and just kind of share our hearts a little bit. I don't have a whole lot prepared. I've been thinking about this space for a little bit now. And so when Christy kind of asked if we put something together, I think what has been really just sitting on my heart and just really speaking a lot into me is, we're in a new year. And I think that so many times the new year is this like inundated space in our culture of all of these like set new goals, come up with a word, like a lot of just motivation, like being like sent to us quite a bit, to the point that I know that I've seen even on social media, like ways that you can try to filter what content you're seeing, because it can be really triggering to see too many posts about losing weight, or it can be really like hard to hear some of these things. And so like just this cultural mindset of like January 1st, everything resets. And I think sometimes even like the perspectives of the year are like challenged to be reset. And I tend to be someone that struggles a little bit in that space, because I tend to not see a year as much as like that's the breakdown of time. I tend to look at things more seasonally. And so for me, kind of the new year is actually usually right smack dab in the middle of cold weather season and winter season. Winter season for me is very much a more challenging time. And so for me, I really celebrate a reset like in spring. That's really when I feel like, oh, this is where I feel like me again. And so I've been in a weird space this year, because I think with the new year came a few really, really nice warm days. And it's given me just a chance to kind of reflect on that seasonal space of like, we're entering back into the cold. I know Bob and Christy are driving home in snow and ice right now, so we're by no means out of that cold weather space. So that very much means like we're still in a very winter mindset. And so I just wanted to ask, how are you?
Yeah. I hadn't really thought about it until today, to be honest, but this year New Year's feels different. Like I usually will set goals for myself, and like I'll pick a word and do all the weird the things that people do. But honestly, like after the cold weather season we've had thus far, and being in those spaces, New Year's just seems so privileged to me, because not everybody has that chance to reset and restart. Like for our friends on the streets, it's another day of survival. And I don't know, it feels different to me this year. I don't really feel celebratory of it at all. It's just kind of like, okay, well, it is a new year, but to me, it's just another year to continue doing good and loving people. And like I set some personal goals for me, like I want to read this many books this year. Like that's usually my thing. So like, yeah, I have a yearly goal, but overall I don't really feel super celebratory of it, because it's
not like focused on changing you, on just like fun accomplishments or something like that.
Like I can focus on changing me any day of the year. It doesn't have to be January 1st, Just feels a little cliche and a little privileged. So
I appreciate that perspective a lot. I also think sometimes we get into a new year and it's like things are going to be good, things are going to be better. And there's also like that mindset of like, there's a lot of hope we speak into existence on January 1st. But the challenge is to cling to that hope when that's not an automatic shift and change, because there is so much in our world that we don't have control over. I know I spent part of the day doing one of our family connection visits and hanging out with a parent and a really sweet kiddo. I've heard this kiddo say something about this year being the year they get to come home. And just like the challenge for me in that is just like the hope that this kiddo spoke into existence in that space. That's like, I'm clinging to the hope that 2023 is the year some of this challenge for us ends, this like gap for me and for us. And speaking of their family, at the same time, it was like, but we have 12 months of a long year ahead. And like that hope can linger for 12 months. Like, you know, what if this case closes on December 23rd? You know, there's like, which is very possible. Yeah. And just like, I just found myself like hoping for this child that like that hope is something that they can cling to, even when some of this like energy goes away. Of just like, how do we kind of retain some of that? How do we persevere when those things are not automatic and those things don't? Because we're not naive. Like, it's hard. Life is hard. Like you said, for so many, they're focused on survival. For so many, they're focused on just trying to get through the day because mental health is really, really tough. They're trying to get some of those, you know, break down barriers, and that's a consistent fight. So I want to start with a poem. It's an Amanda Gorman poem. So Amanda Gorman, it really came into the spotlight at the inauguration of Biden. She wrote a beautiful poem that just really challenged America, a very, very young poet who has overcome quite a bit of art barriers and has just really taken the world of poetry and art by storm with just this crazy passion and perspectives. And so this is a poem written for the new year. So I would like you to just, wherever you're at, if you can, close your eyes and listen. If you're not in a place you can close your eyes, just kind of focus on these words. And then we're going to sing a couple of songs and I think share a little bit here and there. It'll be a shorter time together, but that's okay. So may this be the day we come together. Morning we come to mend. Withered we come to weather. Torn we come to tend. Battered we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been ready by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. can close your eyes. I invite you to do that. And to take some deep breaths. In and out. I think as we go into the year of 2023, and we're a week in already, I want to speak over you permission to slow down. Permission to rest and to carve out space to rest, even when that does not seem to be fitting in schedules that are busy. Permission to let go of expectation, to let go of the fear of disappointing someone or something or yourself. I want to speak over you potential for things this year to get better in your world. Potential for you to rise above and to own spaces that are intimidating to you, spaces that you never felt like you could walk in. I want to speak over you the potential to find yourself and to be yourself. And to find spaces where that is loved and supported and welcomed. I want to speak over you this year the courage to fight, whether that's fighting your own gap and progress in spaces that are unjust and unfair in your own world, or the courage to fight for others that are in places of oppression, to fight for systems that are more fair and just, for things to be more equal and diverse across the board. I want to speak over you permission to be proud of yourself. Sometimes for that massive step that you took or you're going to take, sometimes for the courage to go one more day sober, one more day fighting, one more day taking medication to keep chemicals in our brains better. Sometimes for just taking one more deep breath. Sometimes just going second by second. Whatever it is that's on your heart, whatever it is that's in your life, whatever it is that you are facing, the ability to hope forward, the ability to stay in a space of waiting, to be in a space of action. There is the ability to rise up in every space. And as we sing this song called Raise Up, I hope that this would feel like an anthem that's deeply personal and mean whatever it is that you need it to mean. I want you to hear that I'm proud of you. And I believe in a God that is proud.
Bring me your weak and weary. Bring me your strange and bold. I come for hope and healing. I
I'm losing things. Oh, here it is. Friends, it is so important to me and to us at TCG. I know we share this passion, that there is safe places for people. And I know we're missing some of the safety of our connections with our TCG family. These services have been something that I think has sustained a lot of us. And this decision to not be in person in this season is hard. And it's really hard going into a new year to be doing that without this connection. But I also know that as we've had to walk some hard roads over this winter season of figuring out how our building can be best used, next week it opens as a crisis cold weather shelter. And there are currently 12 cots in there that are lined up as we are doing some things to get the building ready to finish getting that space ready and volunteers signed up and things like that. I want to encourage you that whether you are someone who finds a lot of confidence in your faith, or whether you're someone who's in a place of doubting and questioning and wondering and not sure what you believe, whether you are someone who claims the title of Christian or you seem to lean towards that more spiritual title, the song that we're going to end with and kind of the space that I would like to encourage us to end tonight is the space that says, don't be afraid to look for God, for the spiritual, for that space that is so much deeper than us in every little thing around us. Look for God in the people that you interact with. Look for God in the weather, for those breaks and patterns that are so uncomfortable and dangerous for those that have no shelter, the weather that is so dangerous as well for those who struggle with mental health, for those moments that the sun comes out, those moments that we get a warmer day and we can just soak that in. Look for God in the very beautiful little things that can happen, the weird spaces when we go to check our bank account, there's $20 more than we thought there was, when we go through a drive-through line and someone paid for our meal before us, when we walk outside and there's a squirrel on the ground and the squirrel brings us joy and makes us happy and reminds us of the entire world that's working together in this season that is complicated and hard. This song we're going to sing is a beautiful song called by Corey, I can never say his last name.
Kilgannon?
That, yeah. It's called God is in the Looking of Your Eyes. And before we sing that, I'm going to read these verses because I think that as we look for God, where we look for that spiritual space, that deeper connection we have to one another, to the good in the world, and that's what I think it is partly, it's looking for the good in things that are sometimes really complicated. And that's so often where God shows up. There's also a space of recognizing and acknowledging that sometimes when we're trying to look for the good, we're in things that are dark, or we're in things that are painful, or we're in spaces that are hard. And so I want to read these verses over you. This has always been verses that have just really meant a lot to me in a lot of seasons. It's Isaiah 43:2. And it says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. And I speak those words over you in whatever you are doing, whatever your circumstances, wherever you are laying your head at night, whatever you are walking through or walking to each and every day, that you would see the divine that is in every, and the holy that is in every element around you, and that would give you the courage to hope and to keep hoping and to keep persevering and to keep fighting no matter what.
Bluer than a cloudless April sky, hotter than the stars that scorch the night, twirling in the tear that you can't cry. God is in the looking of your eyes. Happy as a dog laying in the grass, bitten in a nation's violent past. Empty as the time you try to pass. God is in the questions that you ask. Sweeter than a blossom tangerine, crumbling like the breakers on a beach. Different as the languages we speak. God is in the people that you meet. Purest babies in their mother's arms, broken as the loneliest of hearts. Deep within your soul, so torn apart. God is in the person that you are. Bluer than the cloudless April sky, hotter than the stars that scorch the night. Twirling in a tear you can't cry. Art is in the looking of your eyes.
Do you have any short thoughts to share?
Don't make the new year about you. Let this be the year that you love people and mean it and show it with your actions and go do good.
I love that. I know that we are looking for some unique opportunities to gather in person or on Zoom to reconnect. So pay attention to our Facebook page, our TCG crew group especially, and we'll be posting some of those things. I know we definitely have a need for people to help step up on street outreach. We have a need for volunteers at the overnight crisis mother shelter that opens next week. And we have a huge need also for more volunteers to work with our Family Connection program. And so if there's any space in you that would like to get your feet wet into something, like you said, loving people intentionally to share, reach out to us. We would love to connect you to the right places and get you plugged in. And I promise you that there will not be regret in those spaces. It won't be easy, but there will not be regret to connecting. So we love you. We miss you. We're grateful for you and these little opportunities to still connect, share our hearts with you. And we will see you back here next Saturday at this time. Have a good week.